I'm Cash, and welcome back to Cash Talks Football, where we break down all the goals scored in the Premier League. And today we're doing Bournemouth against Manchester City. And funny, I could actually seen this one happening, because Bournemouth seemed to be on the rise, and Man City just seemed to be stuttering and not quite finding any consistency, which they normally do at the beginning of the season, but they just seem to beat you anyway. Now, we're going to look at a couple of the little points right here. I just want you to think about this in isolation. You've got Phil Foden out here pressuring, and do you really want him to be isolated 1v1? You've got Kyle Walker just kind of watching instead of helping him. It's Phil Foden. We know what he's good on the ball, but he's not really a great defensive player. And right in this situation, I'm not a fan for doubling up, but I am a fan of getting close enough so you can help when he starts struggling. And he does start struggling, so you need to come over and help. You've got clearly a player that can come over and deal with this, so you're almost in no man's land. You've got a free role in this situation as a defender. You go, I don't really need to mark him because my mate's there. I should really go over and help in this situation here, because Foden just gets bullied. Right now, though, as it's moved on just a little bit, you can see that this guy's now facing this way. He's got him exactly where he wants him. Kyle Walker can come in and take this little bit of space away. He's not really holding a line here because they're a little bit too deep. You can see that they're dropping almost onto the 6-yard box. So right now, he might as well get involved to help out his teammate so he doesn't get easily beaten. So let's just move it on. All of a sudden, look, a little bit of burst of pace. And Foden doesn't have that in a defensive capacity. He's really good on it when he's got the ball, when he can do that little burst to get past you or to push you around in midfield. But to actually defend against it, it's a different type of burst of energy. He doesn't have it. Now he's in trouble. Kyle Walker still stood still, still hasn't read the danger and understood, well, this isn't necessarily the best defensive player on my team, and he might need help here. I'm just going to stand here in no man's land. As we can see, the player that he could have maybe didn't go because he wasn't going to mark this guy, so he wasn't sure if he was going to leave the space because this guy might sort of run in behind him. Well, that didn't happen. Wasn't even looking to. He carried on his trajectory to get out and way of the box. Now Kyle Walker's just sort of isolating himself. He's completely in no man's land. No one really to defend behind him. No one really to defend in front of him. So he really needs to be shutting down this massive piece of space right here. And he doesn't. Now, when he goes to turn the corner here, you can still see this huge pocket of space right there, which he should be looking to step into and take away from the attacker. Just to make it difficult for him to ping a ball across, make any sort of decision. You can see you coming in. He still hasn't made a decision. Still standing there. Still not quite sure what to do, as his teammate clearly gets beaten on the outside, which we all knew was going to happen anyway, because it's Phil Foden. He's not the best defensive player ever. And as this moves on, all of a sudden, now what are you doing? You're not really still closing the ball down. You're kind of, am I going to protect the cross? What am I going to do? Still hasn't made any decision. There's enough Manchester City players in and around the box here to actually deal with a simple cross. So what makes this cross actually decent? When he fires it, he absolutely fires it. So if there's any sort of touch, anything, it's very, very difficult to defend or do anything with. Absolutely fires it across. Right to top of the 6-yard box. As a little touch. It's so powerful. Actually, that's not powerful. That's not what's made him. His run's powerful, and that's what's made him actually stop, turn back, and whip it into the corner of the net box. But look at the Man City players that are absolutely doing nothing in this situation. Man City have got a lot of problems I can see on the horizon. As older players are aging out, and those younger talented ones haven't started stepping in and doing their job and being able to force those older players out, they're relying on some of those older players, the Kyle Walkers. They're not at the same level as they were 2 years ago, and you're starting to see it. So a little bit of a pivot. Also, though, has to do a quality turn and finish because he's got no time really to do anything else, and he gets himself a goal. Well done. Let's get on to the next goal. I'm going to show you this other little Kyle Walker clip here because normally you're not even thinking that he's not going to be able to defend this brilliantly. Ball goes down, bounces a little bit. You're thinking he's just going to get a poke away because that's what he always does. He's just better than you. And right now, he's just not. He's got a bit of a dip in form, and we're going to see how long it lasts. They end up getting a little bumble towards Edison here, but You're expecting Kyle Walker to be able to deal with it quite easily, and he doesn't. Power ends up going through. The physical power ends up going through, just outrunning him, pushing him away, and just getting a little bumble of a shot off. Nothing, dangerous, but it should never happen against a quality player like Kyle Walker there on the outside. This all starts back here on the halfway line, and this is the other interesting thing. Without Rodri in the team, Man City have, it's one of these things when you're such a good team and you've been winning for so long, you get this sort of frame of arrogance, and it's because you're better than everybody else. And what do I mean by arrogance? It's not like, oh, you're cocky or any of that. It's your workload shifts a little bit. Every single time you don't run back as hard as you can, or because you just deal with the danger. We don't have to. It's going to get cut out. They're not going to get through us. It's okay. And you can see that sort of attitude in this defending here. Now, the other thing that happens is when you have a Rodri in your team who's, say, a 10, all those players that are 6s or 7s are 8s and 9s now because he ups their level just a little bit. And then those people that you don't rely on, well, but they always do a good performance. Their performance levels just drop just a little bit because they're trying to do an extra job, or the other thing in midfield isn't quite balanced as well. And you can see that in Man City's play here, because all of it, if this was normal, Rodri would have just come over and snuffed out this danger and it wouldn't be a problem. But in this case, it's not. So Bournemouth just get to run through the midfield here. Then they play a simple pass in behind Kyle Walker, who you'd expect. He's not going to do anything wrong. He's going to win that ball easily. It's going to be no problem for him whatsoever. The quality ball, though, takes him kind of out of the way. You still expect Kyle Walker to recover for the pace that he's got. And this is one of the things that happen when you've been relying on your pace and not your positional play and your quality defending. You're just, faster than them, so you get there before you have to even think. Or if you make a mistake, you can recover so fast that mistake doesn't happen. Right there, he's a little bit too high, because he can afford to be. But he's getting caught out, and now all they need is a quality ball across the box. And they get it. But this goes back to what I was saying originally, is running back and defending. We're not going at 1,000,000 miles an hour. So you've got two players that haven't actually bothered to mark, track, or pay any attention to the striker as he's just going down the middle of the field. You can't afford to do that. You always have to be at your best, even against Bournemouth, because it's the Premier League, and if you don't, they will beat you. This is a quality finish as well, because there's not much he can do other than touch the ball. He touches the ball, and he gets himself a goal. As it comes across, there's nothing he can do but just stretch and poke. The keeper's got no chance. It's into the bottom corner. Yeah, really good from Bournemouth. Now let's get on to the Man City goal. So this is an actual quality header, but you can see Bournemouth are so far back because Man City have just pushed them back. They can't actually get pressure on the ball, except for this wee man here. He's been chasing around for a bit, but he's got no real support because Man City had just got Bournemouth on the cosh. And slowly but surely, they do get an opportunity to goal. Now, this is absolutely a perfect header because it's right into the corner of the net box. Anything other than that, and they're not getting this goal. I want you to keep an eye on it over here, though, because you can see he's drifting from behind the defender to make the defender go back, then to cut in front of the defender. And I'm also going to show you how high and how much actual extra jump the City players got here actually attacking this ball, because that does make a massive difference. You can see the leap. Look at that. Look at the space difference there and there. I'll show you from another angle so you can see it in a second. But he puts it right into that corner there. It's an absolute quality header. Donk knocks it in. No chance for the keeper. Yeah. Let's just show you that from the other angle so I can show you that height difference. There's the leap. Look at that. Right, the difference is, as well, is body shape. You go, Kesh, what do you mean? Well, because he made that little run a little bit fraction earlier, he can get up a little fraction earlier. The defender is then having to react to what the striker is doing. So the striker has got really the advantage over the defender as he's kind of cutting across him, not quite, but enough to jump up and get that extra height and power that's needed. The defender's just reacting to him at that point, and he can't react quick enough or put on enough pressure really to do anything about it. Out of the corner of my eye, though, kind of funny over here. Don't know what these two clowns are doing, but it looks kind of fun. I don't know, there's a jiu-jitsu wrestling match going on down here on the floor. No idea, but that's happening. Yeah. Other than that, Man City are going to probably win the title, as we all well know. They'll find their groove, but they sure are making it interesting for everybody else. And I'll see you next time on Cash Talks Football.